This will be one of my most surgical videos yet, so stay tuned until the end. There's been a whole lot of conversation around this AI music thing, and Timbaland has helped advance it even further. And he did this by actually starting a AI label and signing a AI musician. He's not the only one though. We've seen Drake in the biggest battle of all time, in one of the biggest situations in the battle, use AI. And if you think Drake did that on his own accord by himself and nobody put him up to that, you're crazy. Kanye is another guy with heavy influence within the music community, using his platform to advance AI music. Now, you think this video is simply going to be about, oh, AI is gonna take some artist music and all that? You tripping. That's not what this video is about to be about. There is a much, much, much darker world that we could be headed towards with the advancement of AI in hip hop specifically, and let me tell you why. First, we have to understand the workforce and why the union of the workforce is so important. For anyone that doesn't know, a union is an organization formed by workers who join together and use their strength to have a voice in their workplace. Through their union, workers have the ability to negotiate from a position of strength with employers over wages, benefits, workplace health and safety, job training, and other work-related issues. Unions also serve an important role making sure that management acts fairly and treats its workers with respect. Almost something like this. We'll talk about that later. Why do I need a union? You work in public service because you care about your community. We can do more for our neighbors, our families, and each other if we speak with one voice. When we organize as union, we gain the strength to make real change. Together, we speak with one voice that no one can ignore. Not our bosses, not the people we serve, and not our elected officials at any level. This is maintaining the independence of the worker, separate from the employer. This is for the strength of the employee, giving power to the employee so he or she is able to stand up for themselves and ask for what they think they deserve. Now, who would this union be an enemy of? The CEO. And not just any CEO, the greedy CEO. Because now I have to treat these people like they're human. I have to pay these people like they're human. I have to actually face real human beings who want real things. That's too much of a hassle to deal with, right? So how could I potentially monopolize the workforce that would work for me? One would think of AI. One would think if I could get something that would work for me, regardless of how it feels, regardless of what it's been through, and something that's not gonna ask me for more, why wouldn't I do that? That might not be the total end goal. There's obviously a bunch of nuance to this, but you can't tell me this isn't on the mind of the greedy CEO. This is why the union is a check. It's a check on the authority of the CEO. Make sure that the CEO doesn't get too out of control. Now let's talk about hip hop. Hip hop is the exact same thing. It's a check on the government. If we fast forward thousands and thousands of years now, and you want to know the real state, the real position that America was in, the things that they were really doing, hip hop is your genre to go listen to. Hip hop is the history, the documentation of what is going on in real time, from the perspective of the people who are on the receiving end, from the perspective of the union. This is why you get songs like I Wanna Unalive Sam on Ice Cube's death certificate. You got this white body under the American flag as a drape, and on the tag you see Uncle Sam. This is our critical commentary. This is our check on the government. Even when you go back to Tupac and his song Track or Tupacalypse, an album that they don't want you to know about that much, and a music video they don't want you to know about too much. This is him talking about his experience as a black individual, fighting back and standing up for yourself. They don't want you to hear this. This is a check on the government. They don't want that. Even when we talk about a group like Public Enemy, how many groups are you aware of that their whole aesthetic is fighting the power? How many do you know? You don't know that many because they made sure to slow this type of shit down. Now, once again, if I want to control narratives, if I want to control what people think, and I want to control how people operate, who is my enemy? The hip hop artists who are maintaining the hip hop element, which is the critique of the establishment. Now, somebody in the comments is gonna say, well, the originators used to make party music, so hip hop is supposed to be about partying. Let me school you real quick, my boy. Of course, the feel was celebratory. The feel was party-like. But the shit they were saying, no, it wasn't. Broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stairs. You know they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Got a money move out, I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with a baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because a man with a tow truck repossessed my car. It sounds good, but when you read it, you start to understand. They are talking about their reality and their experience. At the core, this is what hip hop is about, no matter how it sounds. So since the CEO can't go without hip hop because it fills his pockets, he has to find a way to keep the entertainment value while eliminating the threat to him. And over time, what happens is you try to dilute what the meaning of hip hop is. You try to bring in new fans to rewire what the culture is actually about. But what they don't understand, because they're not us, is the spirit is much stronger. It's not gonna go away. It's gonna be here. Hip hop is much different than these other things that they've been able to take. And what people don't understand is these guys gotta answer to somebody too. When Tupac dropped Tupacalypse and the vice president put pressure on labels to make sure that type of music didn't come out, you think they couldn't listen to that? No, they had to listen and they had to make sure this shit gets censored. Which is why Tupac's Troublesome album never came out, because they said, this can't come out. Now imagine cooking up an archetype. Imagine cooking up an avatar that is supposed to take hip hop as far away from its element as possible. They tried this multiple times, but it doesn't work. What's your next move? You have to use something that you believe can imitate what you need without all the problems that come with it. Why wouldn't you want to be able to profit off of hip hop without having to deal with the government putting pressure on you to make sure nobody critiques them? And that's why AI is being ushered into hip hop. Now let's get into the real talk. As this war is gearing up between the America, Israel, Iran, all these different countries that are going to eventually jump in, due to the fact that they all got to protect each other, they cannot afford hip hop to critique them in this time. Because the power shift is so blatantly obvious globally, they have to make sure that within their own backyard, they got everything under control. And the very last thing they can afford is hip hop, the most influential genre in the world, to be speaking about America and their moves publicly. And this is why they are ushering in AI to take over the hip hop scene, to remove the feeling, to remove the rebellion, to remove the spirit. If you can't remove the spirit, what do? Replace it with something that doesn't have one. They want a world where they can control every single avenue that you see or hear. They want a world where no matter what, a voice can't get out, a voice can't criticize, and a voice can't critique. And they move closer to this by initiating AI into this genre. I don't give a fuck about what none of y'all talking about at all. AI has no place in hip hop because hip hop is about spirit. That's something AI does not have. And I understand if people want to say Timbaland is being innovative, all this different shit. You can be innovative in a different motherfucking way, my boy. Because an opportunity you seek for yourself is destruction for everybody else. Let's be honest. This is much bigger than hip hop. This is about control. This is about propaganda. This is about making sure they can control everything you hear and see. I want to talk about more, but you know I like to keep these type of videos under 10 minutes. So I'm going to make a part 2 soon, all right? Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you've been new here. Especially if you've been watching and ain't subscribed yet, subscribe, because we get into the crunch time. So it's time to start talking about a couple things. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Catch y'all later.